Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Here we are to speak about the last and final episode of Big Brother Reindeer Games season 1.
Season
And
1. Hopefully
season
there'll be a
1.
season 2.
It was fun. It's a fun little mini thing to watch the ex players play. And clearly, we all had our favorites. And I am sad to say that we have one sad person tonight whose favorite didn't do so well.
And then we have another person whose winner pick was second place, which is the first place behind winner.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome.
That's like being close to a hand grenade. I mean, come on.
Guys, we thought Frankie was going to dominate.
Yeah, I thought for sure Frankie was getting it.
He didn't. We thought David thought Xavier was going to turn it on because he did. Hold on to it. And then,
let's be honest. The beginning of the episode, it sure looked that way, didn't it?
But he got beat by a girl. And that girl with the annoying voice, right?
Well, he got beat by a former Big Brother champion. I mean, it's not exactly...
Almost 2-time champion.
Well, anyway, so Xavier got eliminated. Then Frankie got eliminated. And it was down to a final 2 between the ladies. How'd you feel about that, Got?
Well, of course, I wanted Taylor to win then.
Right, you love her.
Like, she's my girl, too.
That's okay. Taylor's going to win. So then, how did you feel? You felt that way for a little bit.
No, I actually thought Taylor looked fabulous in the tracksuit.
Yeah.
So I was, I was there
for
that.
Nicole called it, right? She's like, look at her. She's running around doing physical things. She's got her hair down. She looks fabulous.
She's so she's so smooth, Nicole. And
I'm
sorry,
Nicole couldn't climb the thing. I thought, oh well, it's over.
Well, she's so much taller. I thought, boy, she had an advantage.
I thought Nicole would have an easier time crawling up that tree than Taylor would, just because she's so small.
I think
be helpful.
I think small and compact is not the way you want to go on something like that. You need to be long so that you can kind of like extend your arm to help balance.
Skip steps.
Because you can like throw your weight around and balance in.
Yeah. And then Nicole had to leap. She had to leap in the air.
So dramatically.
But I don't think Nicole is somebody you define as graceful. You know what I'm saying? Whereas Taylor kind of is, right? So
sure, yeah.
I thought she would have a big advantage in that, and she did.
And she did on that first one, yeah. And then Nicole started making up ground on the second one because she had quite a lead after the first part.
Yeah, when they got to the snowflake puzzle,
and then she was.
The big mistake was, and I realized it, I'm sure you guys did probably too, pretty early on because we weren't in the middle of having to play it, that each bag, like if you kept the pieces together in each group, they would stack really well. And Taylor, but then you have like 4 bags all mixed together. But then Nicole realized, nope, stack them in groups, and that got her the win.
Yep.
So good for her. Good for her.
Go Nicole. The only thing I'm sad about is that Nicole was not wearing her glasses because she's really super cute with her big giant glasses.
Yeah.
On this show, we clearly like glasses.
No.
I really did enjoy when they got to show they showed everybody that had played. They all came back onto the set. Yeah. And then we had to
see Cameron again.
Well,
but he
had to have his goodbye moment. But I loved when they were like, okay, like here's the last 2 players that got, out. They did not expect it.
No, they did not. No,
and then Cameron tried to make up for 115 days of being like kind of chauvinistic, and then started talking a lot about how he couldn't be more proud of these 2 badass girls.
Well, because he's read all the stuff that was said about him when he was in the house now.
Right.
This is an opportunity for growth, Cam. And that's what I wish for you this holiday season.
I'm proud of him to have that. Good job. Good job, Cam. I don't even hate you as much as I did, 20
And
years ago.
Frankie, though, when Frankie got eliminated, he did look quite deflated. I mean, he didn't get sore losery or anything, but he did look kind of like...
He was a sad guy.
Oh, not like that one gal on Survivor. She's bitter, like, still, like 5 weeks later or whatever it is.
Oh, yeah.
She's been off.
Kelly
has been off for a long time. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Kelly?
She was not happy.
Kelly's not still bitter.
She's
I think
still
you're talking
bitter.
about. I think you're talking about Kendra.
The short black-haired girl who said, "What
Yeah,
the hell,
Kelly's
guys?"
not
When
bitter.
she,
She's
oh,
not
she's
bitter. She
absolutely
just
bitter.
has
She's
The
just
one with the super
has
blue
RBF.
eyes.
She just
That's
has RBF.
no,
It's fine.
she's just trying to hide it now because she knows she came off badly in her episode.
I don't know.
I
I don't
blacked
think
out.
she came off
I
badly. I
blacked
think she
out.
was
I didn't
awful.
know what I said. Oh,
You're
come
so
on.
mean. You take back everything you say about Kelly. She is not being a bitter person at all. She got
When
super
she got
blindsided.
kicked out,
True, however.
well,
True.
no, that wasn't that her super blindsided. It was that freaking what's his name wouldn't stop telling people that she was his number one. He was like the creepy guy that just like
Well,
I was
listen,
plotting. She was like, "Ew, stop! I don't
we
even
can't
like you like
keep
that."
the
Ew.
Funkles around. Can't keep them around because they just embarrass you in front of your friends.
And he wasn't even drunk. He was
No.
and we're not talking about
Drunk
the show,
on
but I
power.
really think
Drunk
Brooke
on
was-
power. You know who wasn't drunk on power?
Jamie Jo when she won everything.
Exactly.
Austin.
Exactly. Me.
Austin, you ever see
Not
a guy
drunk
so
on
happy
power.
to be
I
humiliated
win
by his love
everything.
interest on TV?
Not a drink to not a drop to drink in celebrations. Mighty high
Sweet.
because I never get to win and gloat as much as this. So yeah. But-
That is awesome.
But
So yeah, so that was it. Overall,
reindeer
did you
win
think- did you think-
competitions.
Yeah.
Question on this. We saw the clock one. Like, well, they did a nutcracker one on this, right? We've seen
Right,
this
but we've
competition
seen
in
it.
Brother before. Who was it that won this? Because I remember it was somebody we really wanted to win it. Like, it was like, oh,
it
but I
wasn't
can't
this last
remember
year. Was it the summer before? Was it cookout year?
maybe it was.
And if that was the case, that wouldn't be fair. If,
No,
No,
because
maybe
they'd
it was
already seen
Michael.
it.
Was it Michael? I don't remember who did this, but we have seen this one before, and I know.
oh yeah, and I liked it then because it's one of those.
Because they had whoever it was, they had to get up in the middle of the night to go out and do it. It was one of those challenges that you get woke up and have to go do.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's a good one. I think it's really fun. It's like a spatial puzzle, so you have to kind of
Yeah,
like
I love it.
in like 3-dimensionally. I like that. It's good.
And Nicole did it the smart way. Start from
Yeah.
the bottom and work your way up. And you know what? Yeah, he was trying to do the whole thing at once, and there's no way you're going to mess that up.
And you have to. It's one of the. You have to put one, and you have to check it.
Right,
Put
that's
one,
what she was
check it.
doing, and
Put
that
one,
was
check
super
it.
smart. And then
Yep.
when she got messed up was when she started to go from the top down to try to get him to meet up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and how fun was it? Like they get the nut, they crack the nut. It's a piñata. Clearly a Christmas piñata.
I like that. That was good.
That was
They
very
really
cool.
did have some great decorations this
I
entire
mean, the
season.
set looks
I
looks
loved
amazing.
the set. So pretty.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like I'm starting to feel more and more that the weird zombie week during Big Brother was like, oh crap, this strike isn't stopping. We're gonna need to put together something. We need to pull
So they
all
paused
hands
the
on
game
deck.
and worked on this. That is a great idea. That is probably likely what they did.
And it
They
was
didn't want to
I
pay
don't know.
any extra people. They just said we're gonna do.
And the games, the competitions were better. Like this competition tonight between Taylor and Nicole, like the 3-tiered
Yes,
competition.
I love that.
It was
3 parts.
It was so great. I
Yeah.
really, yeah.
Oh
I
my
am just,
gosh, how about-
so surprised with how
How
awesome
about how
it
they all
was.
acted when Santa showed up?
They were like,
No,
Brittany
they were
getting
all like, oh,
okay.
Josh was like, I'm so excited.
But not Brittany. Brittany's like, yeah, Santa.
Well, because she's Daria Elf. You know what I mean?
And she's still salty about being
Yep.
eliminated.
She's so great.
she's always salty. That's her persona.
She is a snarky sarcasm queen.
Which I love because here she is, this cute little adorable girl, and then she's like, oh, and the way she
Yeah.
like rolls her eyes and
Yes.
you know,
But
she's
she's always available to poke fun at herself, and that's why it's fun.
yes, absolutely.
There's no doubt. Although I have to say at some point, Nicole's like, "Oh, poor me, I'm terrible at comps. I can't win anything." As she wins everything to the
And
end.
she
Sorta
says
got
that, and they
old.
believe her.
Yes, I don't know why. She's only been on every competition show that
No.
She's
CBS
doing a great job.
offers.
Ironically, had Xavier put the girls up first and they got the clock, and he gets this. I'm sorry, he and Nicole get the second
Yeah.
competition. He wins that easy. She doesn't win that.
You don't think so?
No,
I think he would have won that one.
He would have won that, and
Well, okay.
Frankie
Yes.
probably would have won the clock.
I'm gonna push back on that a little bit because I think that Xavier would have won the first 2 steps of that competition easily. But
I'm
as
not
we
talking
saw
about
with
the final
the
comp. I'm
Christmas
talking
tree,
about there were 2 different comps, and he got
To
to
get
pick the
into the
brackets.
final 2.
So if he would have
Okay.
said,
There was
if he would
the
have said
slingshotty
Frankie
one,
and
and
Taylor
there was
go
the gear one,
first,
right?
Okay,
and
gotcha.
me and Nicole, he would have gotten the competition with the slingshot.
Yes. Yeah, Yeah, he likely could have. But the other competition ending it with the snowflakes, I don't think I think any of the other 3 would have had either just as good, if not a slightly better chance than him. Because when we saw him with balancing that Christmas tree with the ornaments at the beginning of this, that's
He
not
could
him.
not figure it out.
Not good at that.
Right. I think Frankie would have rolled on that final event.
Yeah. Might have.
Although
I will
think
say though, just as a personal point, that when I found out that Xavier really wanted to win the $100,000 so that he could give his fiance the wedding of her dreams, I just was like, ugh. And people, just as a PSA from someone who knows, don't spend a lot of money on your wedding.
Don't
It's
do
a-
it. It's so dumb.
It's
Buy a house.
completely a created industry to make you spend a lot of money.
Just
Don't do
buy
it.
a house.
It doesn't
man.
mean anything. It doesn't mean anything. It won't make you happier in your marriage. Okay?
No.
Okay.
Have a lovely ceremony and then buy a house and have people over for a
Yeah.
barbecue in the back.
And save yourself the stress. You know what? You know what makes a happy marriage? Low stress.
Yeah. Yes.
Anyway,
Padded
that's
bank
just my
account.
PSA out for all the kids out there.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, I don't know. I like that we got a mom that won, even if she's
Yeah.
not. She's definitely not in my top 10 favorites of the Big Brother alumni, but I can still say she's good at these things. She's good at it, and
what's interesting is had it been Rachel Riley, I don't know that she would have won.
I don't know.
You know what I'm saying? You know, because that's what
Rachel's getting a little messy.
I need to correct something I said, by the way.
Ooh, okay.
I said Suri was on Traders again, and that is incorrect.
See, I didn't think she was on
It
it
is
again.
Sandra in poverty, not Suri in poverty. So
Oh.
I need to correct the record because
So will they ally or will they
Mixing facts.
not? Will they?
Well,
I know you.
Traders is weird. Did you watch the first season?
I am almost to the end. Sorry.
Yeah. I wish you would watch it so we could talk about the end.
I will. But, oh, you mean tonight? Well, I
No,
know who
I
wins it. I already knew because you guys spoiled me back in the dive.
Well, yeah, but you got to see how it happens because I'm still.
That's
salty
what
about
I'm
that
watching
shit.
now. Like I said, I was at the part where that ding dong, was his name Jackson? Where he's like, I got recruited last night, but I said no. And they're all like, what is he doing? Oh, at that moment right there, I was like, oh my God, Suri is not going home because if they're going to take anybody out, it's going to be him. They're not going to look at her because he just made himself such a giant target.
Not everybody
you
is
idiot.
good at all
You
their
knew
things.
Anyway.
So I have the entire season of Amazing Race on my DVR, and if I don't get
great.
spoiled before the 26th, I'm going to sit down and watch the whole thing.
It's nice. They went to some really good countries this year.
Don't tell me anything about it. I literally know nothing other than the Space Needle thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's good.
But
I think you like it. I feel like it's very well-rounded season.
They went to some really good countries and they had some really cool challenges, I thought.
Did they sing Donald, Where's Your Cruisers?
No, but there are some
Still my favorite
things
moment.
that you might be equally there's some good spots.
Okay.
Yeah. I think you'll be all right.
And no non-elimination, so
Happy.
No non-eliminations?
no non-elimination.
Oh, I'm totally in for this.
The only time I think they had one where they were like, you're still running. And there are some
that's fair
truly
enough.
likable. There is, for me personally, on Amazing Race this year, there was a father and son duo. They were they had my whole
Mine
heart.
too.
Oh,
mine
no
too. I loved them.
Survivor or Big Brother people or anybody I
Nope.
know?
No.
Are they all rookies or any returnees?
No, all rookies. And that father-son duo, the father is deaf, and the son is like his interpreter, his ALS interpreter, and they have such a great relationship. David,
Yeah,
you're
it
gonna
is
watch
really
that,
nice.
and it's gonna make you want to call your boys and tell them how much you love them. It's like
Yeah,
that.
it's nice.
Yeah, they're so great. I really wanted them. I
Okay,
really rooted for them
like
the
I said,
entire game.
I'm gonna sit down. I'm gonna do the whole season like in a day,
Yeah, there you go.
They're
Binge
90
watch
minutes
that.
though.
and I'll fast forward through like as the competitions are going on.
They're not 90 minutes when there's no commercials. They're only an
That's
hour.
true. Oh, I was just saying, yeah. It was a good season. It was good.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. You'll like.
They did those things again where like they had to book their own tickets for planes and stuff.
I know, and
Oh,
I've
see,
missed
I've
that
never seen
so
a season
much.
like that,
And
so
that
I'll
makes
be
it more
interested in
interesting
seeing
too,
that.
because then it's like whoever can get to the ticket agent first, and like it makes it more interesting.
Chaos.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Stressful chaos. Well, what do you think, guys? Reindeer games on a scale of 1-2, it better come back every year. What do you think?
Well, I would say it's better than when you get out of the mainstream games, Survivor,
Yeah.
Big Brother, right, and you go to like Celebrity and kind of the
Yeah.
offshoot games. It's the best of those. It's
Yeah.
the best of the offshoot games.
I
Yes,
agree. And I also think that this is a fun concept to do this like right before Christmas. Because it feels, you know what it feels like? It feels very British in that sense. Because, you know, in the UK, they always have like their shows come out with an episode that's Christmas related. And so here was like Big Brother was like, you know what? We're going to give our fans something Christmassy. I mean, it was 6 episodes.
6 episodes over 2 weeks, too. It wasn't a big, after coming off that 100-day marathon.
Yeah.
Right.
It was just like,
yeah, and we didn't have to deal with any of like the snarky, like backstabbing alliances. I mean, they really couldn't do that here.
Yeah.
Things were changing so quickly.
And the games were new, and I mean, even the ones that we saw, like 2 that were kind of a repeat version.
Yeah.
They had their own spins on them, and the games were new and unexpected. We didn't know how they'd play out. I feel like they were evenly balanced. That either sex had a fair shot.
Yes, because look at that thing with the candy cane that was so physical, and you're getting beat. Nicole won that. Like who would have thought?
And that's because that the smaller person has the advantage there.
Right, but I wouldn't have thought she could have held on more than another person.
Well, and I don't even think it's just. Yeah, I don't even think it's just the smaller person, because the smaller person wouldn't have as much strength to hold on to the bigger person. You have to find it was better because she was right in that middle zone.
The longer your arms did the longer your arms, the better the reach around.
It's the same. Right? Did you just say that?
That's the best way to explain it. You know what I mean?
That is what she said.
That's what she said. But no, I thought it was really great. Like you say, the challenges weren't like, oh, well, this challenge was made for this person.
Yeah, exactly.
Because a lot of people that when I saw the challenge, people won that I didn't think could win it. So
yeah,
that makes it more interesting.
I really did enjoy the very first game that they play that kind of gives them the little advantage going into the bigger game.
I thought those could have been better.
I thought tonight's was really good. I mean, if you get to pick like how the showdown goes, what the brackets are, that's a
better.
Yeah, but I thought the competitions themselves could have been a little more interesting.
Well, they were trying to make them kind of Christmassy themed, so they had the one with the Christmas carols, they had the one with the reindeer, they had you know what I mean? So they were.
And the forgery painting one.
Did you like the forgery one? It had to be
something that could be. I did.
I thought that because that was about observing the house and understanding what changed. That was cool.
So they tapped into a bunch of different like skill sets, right?
Yeah, like the soft skills.
The key one was monumentally stupid. It was so obvious. The first person who found the key
would know.
Absolutely.
That was just a race. That was essentially just a race.
That's we'll throw this one out there for people who maybe aren't so brainiac.
Yeah, let's give them a chance. See?
Yeah, I'm just saying they could have been like even the thing tonight with the 5 reindeer that they had, or the 5 elves they had to shoot the thing at.
Yes,
that could have been a little harder. Make them have to think about it, and maybe get the wrong one and try to figure out what they did wrong.
Yeah,
it was too.
I get what you're saying.
Because it's a logic puzzle and then it's the aim and shoot. So yeah, the logic puzzle.
But I did like I liked the added complication that if you hit the wrong one, you had to do them all over again.
Yeah, you had to reset them all.
Cool.
But the way to do that was absolutely how Taylor did it, which was start in the top row and work your way down. but Frankie kind of didn't.
So you're not
right?
shooting all over the place. Yeah. You're getting a
Yeah.
little learning curve on each
Yeah.
level. And
I don't
yeah,
know. Sorry,
Did
Frankie.
you think?
I
Did you all
really,
think Frankie had it though when he was going for that last shot?
for sure.
So
For
I
sure.
thought he did. Oh, I absolutely thought he had it because he smoked most of the challenges. He smoked, and I was like,
Yep.
oh, he's got this. This is not gonna be hard because they made it look like he was thinking the logic through fastest too, right? Because he was like,
Yes.
I know I have to do this one and this one and this one, this one, and this one.
Because it made it seem like Taylor only focused on the one part
Right.
and didn't
Right.
but
Got
obviously
a
that
candy
wasn't the
cane,
case.
green shirt, green pants, or green shoes, or whatever. Yeah.
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 Yep. I really, yeah. I don't know. I would love for Big Brother to shift into gears and change a few of their comps. I mean, obviously you're going to have the wall comp. You know, you have these classics that are there every year, and that's fine. They can keep those, but it is frustrating. It feels like things like the wall comp has gotten much easier over the years because I don't know, they've either changed the height ratio of where they're standing or holding on to something or whatever they do too easy. Or only most players are only up there for a fraction of the time. Even the really athletic players are just they're not hanging in there like they used to. I don't think it's quite as hard. I think that it doesn't mean as much as it used to.
Oh, see, I think it is harder. I think that's why they're not lasting. They wanted to make it harder for them so that
production could go
there
home.
is that.
So they don't have to stay there filming so long. They don't want it to last. That's why
right. I guess what
they don't want anything lasting, hours and
what
hours.
I meant, I think what I mean is that like where it's placed in the game, it doesn't matter. People just drop.
Oh.
It doesn't matter.
Right.
It's like
well,
the game,
I think
it's not hard enough in the game.
I think that's a new philosophy in these shows anyway, is people going, wait a minute, do I want to win this?
Right.
And that used to not be the thing. It used to be if you were on that show,
just win.
You never heard anyone go like, I don't know, I'm not gonna try and win this and trying to figure out how to fall out.
Now I do
like Jessica.
I do wish that they would. I wish that they would change some of the stuff up too, because as you get more fans into the game, it's like, of course, like on Survivor, we talk about, you got fans of the game. They kind of see certain things. They kind of know how they work. It makes it less entertaining for viewers to see if they can troubleshoot everything before they already get into the challenge. So they have to change their challenges into different versions of itself every year. But in Survivor, it's like, I mean, in Big Brother, it's like they get the fans that come in and then they change nothing. Like they change nothing. Like
OTEV changing their challenges up.
But their relay races and stuff, they do change them. Yes, it's a relay race. Yes, there's going to be ropes that you have to climb over or under a tunnel or whatever. But they change it up. OTEV, other than the set or the theme, changes nothing. It's the same thing every.
But it's so classic. I wouldn't want to.
Right. That's like.
But they can go in.
Don't mess with
They can
OTEV
go in
and don't mess with Zumba.
After 25 years, though, they need to put something in OTEV that adds a different element to it, like something that changes it up.
Why? If you've seen OTEV 100 times or never seen it once, what is the advantage? Go find me, blah, blah, blah. I mean...
But then look at like the double evictions. This season in particular was a perfect example. There was 2 double evictions and they did the exact same games with a different set design. The exact same games.
Well,
because those ones are quick and dirty.
The players should not be able to predict the day of the double eviction.
Yeah,
they're never surprised.
Yeah, that's true.
You see, both of these shows, Big Brother and Survivor, have one thing in common. They are both becoming a little more formulaic and a little more put together for the ease for the people putting it on in behind the scenes. And that's why you're in Fiji every time. So you don't have to design a new game because you still have the game from the last season. So you just paint it a different color and change an element and call it different.
Well, they do tweak and add some new things here and there. But yeah, it's like probably 80% are like things they've done similarly before.
For instance, like on Survivor, you always have that combination lock key, right? And it's the same mechanism.
Right.
for years and years and years. But what they
Yeah.
do is they'll take that mechanism, and yeah, it might show up in a relay, but it might show up in 3 different places in a different game or in a different element.
Yeah.
It's
Right, but
so they're at least like, okay, yeah, we've got this, and they expect something like this coming, but we have to kind of shift how we use that thing because it's been around for so long, and they're bringing fans in to play the game. And those two things together, as we learned from, the early 40s in Survivor and a good chunk of
The
time
early
in Big
40s.
Brother, it's
Yeah.
boring. It's
Yeah.
just, it gets so boring. It's not fun to watch, and it's boring and predictable. And so Reindeer Games
But we
comes
still
in.
can't stop watching.
Yeah, but Reindeer Games comes in and says, okay, cool. Like we kind of understand the formula of these competitions, but like let's do something actually different
Yeah.
with those elements. And they did. And that's really nice to see. And
well,
they better bring that into Big Brother.
Plus, I
And there
really
wasn't a
love
thing-
Christmas, the
I
season,
do
not
too.
the person.
yeah, there
Yeah,
wasn't a
we were.
thing.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
There wasn't a single competition this season that couldn't have been won by anybody. And I don't mean the individual contestant, but rather Joe
in-
average person could have
Reindeer
won.
Games?
Mhm.
Yes, correct.
I agree.
There was
And
nothing that
very
was
even.
there was
That somebody
nothing that
wouldn't
like
be able
the
to attempt.
physical person had a big advantage or the puzzle person had a huge
Right.
advantage. It seemed like the most balanced competitions I've ever seen. I'm not sure that's always desirable. I know like on the Twitter they all want it to be so that the nerds can win all the time. But
So if that was
I
the
don't
case,
think
if
it's
they
about
tried
the
to make
nerds
it,
winning all the time. I think it's just so that it's not all just sports, David.
well, it used to be Survivor was about strength early
if
and
you want
strategy
to
late.
watch sports, just watch sports. This is
Or
not
the Olympics.
This is the sports for the rest of us.
Yes, as Mike Bloom would say, Survivor is my, that is my World Series. That is my, my
Yeah.
football.
Yeah, when my husband was complaining the other day when he came out and I was watching Traders, I'm like, listen, these shows are like sports to me, okay? Stop it.
You stop it now. You don't
Stop it.
understand.
You don't understand.
Well, and one of the big things with these reality competition shows too is that social aspect that comes into it. When these things were first being formulated, it's like they were trying
Social
to
experience.
like how do we take the tension and the tension so that you get from something like poker
Okay, but
and put that into like a social
look how long this game has been on, right? What was the first year? Was it
99,
2000?
2001, right around.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you really think about it, that when this TV show started, it was closer to when Real World had premiered than it is now.
Exactly.
And
Yep.
Real World was that first show that was like, it's kind of a social thing.
Yep.
So, and then they started doing Road Rules.
Yep.
And also that
And
was
so
social.
Road Rules was like the
physical.
first.
Like the
was
precursor to
yeah.
something like this. Yeah. And then a couple years later now, and then Survivor. And it was like a whole new thing. Instead of driving around in a RV, we're going to just put them on an island. And it was just like the natural evolution, I think, of a social TV show. Yeah.
Right.
And I think
the
if you
TV
had
show should surprise us. And that means sometimes it should be physical, sometimes it should be totally mental, and sometimes it should be balanced. And they should mix it up more. I feel like you said, they all know when the double eviction is going to be.
Yeah.
They know, when the wall yeller is going to come. I mean,
But
like,
how do
today's the wall yeller day.
But how do they stop that? Just 1 year, don't do a double eviction at all?
No, you do it like episode 2 or episode.
You have to throw it
at
out
like 5.
I think
you
it'd be great
throw
if
it out at a
they
crazy
didn't do it
time.
at all.
I mean, and like for instance, like the wall, it's become so predictable that they're going to have to do the wall that they base who they push through to become HOH the week before, just so that person can't compete in the wall. I mean, like it's so planted in the same place every single season. That the
And
players
I also think they could dig deep and go back to one of those early things that they had on the show, which was they had to compete as a house to get food items.
Yes.
That was fun. They got to compete. It was another competition,
Yep.
They played harder for that sometimes than they did for immunity or HOH.
And then they get the America picked the weird food combo that they could also have with
so
slop.
I think stuff like that is fun.
Yeah.
I don't know. They could throw that back in. Maybe that would make them, because no one's expecting it now. It's been so many years they haven't done it.
It is. I went on the Tribe Has Spoken today, and they were talking about the Survivor finale, and I won't spoil you, but I will say that they're like, "This is a final challenge. What is this? This is weak."
Really? Was it a giveaway?
Compared to AU, we haven't. I mean,
Right.
American Survivor hasn't had a final challenge like an AU final challenge.
Speaking
in like
of,
years.
But honestly, even for American final challenges since the new era, this was probably the softest of the final, for sure.
You think? Well, the contestants keep getting softer, so the competitions will too.
I can't wait to watch it, guys. When Paramount
the challenge is so soft, it gets broken.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think he was trying to do that. Do you think he was trying to do that? I think he was so mad and frustrated. He was
sometimes I mean, look I'm going to tell you this. I watch somebody getting mad on a show and I'll be like, they're just, that behavior is pretty bad. But I know damn well if I was doing that like tiny piece puzzle, like they're doing with the tweezers we were talking about yesterday, if I was doing that and that fell over 3 or 4 times, I would be kicking that thing. I'd be throwing those tweezers. I'd be like, I don't
You'd
care.
Be like,
out
having
of
to
here.
walk away. That's why I said I can't believe they didn't have to walk away and like
never again. Yeah. So yeah, I think that there's always I don't know, the people who get like really, really frustrated, whether it's not cool or not to do that, I feel are probably like the most real people.
Yeah, but the fact is that was Jake, and he is probably the most authentic person on the show this year.
His facial expressions, just how
he looks like he always, when he gets that sad face, I've coined it as the like Katniss, you've betrayed me, PETA face. Like it looks so much like him.
Yeah.
What's that?
And I thought I was
Santa. I'll be right back. I have to see.
Okay, well, bring us goodies.
Santa's in
really
the toilet again.
thought I was going to hate him at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, that's a pretty common.
But why?
That's a common opinion.
Because he was an attorney and wanted to brag about it instead of understanding that don't tell people that. Yeah. But I almost feel like, and no spoilers, but I almost feel like he's an attorney and told people, but nobody believes him. They're like, this guy's...
Right? I know, right? This guy's so full of it. Like, he probably is a realtor or something.
Oh yeah, you're an attorney. You haven't passed the bar yet, right? It'd be like
what I would really love is if we had something like the Reindeer games again next season, but if we could actually pull in Survivor and Big Brother.
They should just make it like a CBS.
Yes. Like I would love that. Oh my gosh, that'd be so fun because
Tournament of Champions, or I don't know, something.
And you know what? In the past, they really wouldn't have been able to do that to great success because most of the people in Survivor that were being casted, most people were what? They were like muscly competitive athletes.
Right.
They
were all David's friends. Right.
Yeah, they were all David's buddies.
Yeah.
But now
I'm not saying they should all be that way. Just a couple. I mean, it's like
now if you had something like that, I feel like Big Brother and Survivor are a little bit closer to even casting. So it would be good.
David, here's the visual that I have. If the three of us were in the Big Brother house, okay?
Right.
You would be in the backyard talking to the guys. Probably, with your shirt off, maybe working out or just talking about whatever. Jamie and I would be in the bathroom with Rockstar dyeing our hair.
Well, I mean, that's not actually fair because
I would probably accidentally
dye it. So
I would probably accidentally get some hair dye on your pink polo shirt and then be like, oh crap, and then try to hide it and be like, we can't let them know, we can't tell them.
Shirt. You've only heard legend of my pink polo shirt. I have not wore a pastel color for the last 2 years in Raleigh.
And in opposition to the naysaying.
The opposition,
You
mostly
should
the
not do
Scots.
that. Don't ever back down. All colors are beautiful. Don't back
You
down.
rock those
Wear
pastels,
what
buddy.
you
You
want
do
to
you.
wear. Wear what you
No
want to wear.
judgment
Oh,
for
I
me.
do.
Listen, I can't do pastels. It doesn't bode well for me. If somebody can
See,
rock pastels, go for it.
This year you show up and every outfit should have pink on it. And if somebody, the first time they comment on it, say, "Hey, I saw the Barbie movie," and they shut up.
There's only two
True.
people who would comment on it.
It's true. Yeah, and those people live in Wisconsin and New York.
Correct.
Yeah, who cares?
And
Nobody cares. It's
and
fine.
if they were there and commenting on it, our friend in Kentucky would probably jump in too.
But here's the deal: if they commented on it, you'd have
But he
something to
wouldn't
comment on
initiate
them
it.
too. I'm sure it wouldn't just be like if all they can say is something about your shirt.
You listen. You always listen. When in doubt, there's always Crocs to judge. There's always the Crocs.
Yeah, but
It's fine.
certain things in life are too easy, right? It's like,
Yeah,
Low hanging fruit. You just don't even bother. You're
got to
above
get
that.
more creative. Got to get more creative with the insults. Reflect.
but just back to the thing. I'm not looking for an all athletic cast. I'm just
Okay.
saying, don't get to the point where we've gotten now where athletic people need not apply because we want to keep it so equal for the not athletic people that we're not going to put any on. That's all.
No, I see what you're saying.
And each cast seems to get weaker physically.
Well, this is part of why I think that happens because, again, when you have a show that's been around for so long and fans start playing it, they do have athletic people. It's just they don't keep them around for meat shields in the U.S. anymore. They get them the hell out.
Bye.
But there's really
Or
okay,
maybe
who was
maybe
athletic?
as
Who was
Americans,
athletic this season?
maybe we're just not.
I think Austin was athletic, even though Drew was not like
Austin was a
muscly.
skinny little crap. A real
Dee was
athletic
athletic.
person would.
Yeah, Dee was athletic.
Especially with
Sabaya
the-
was athletic.
No, that hasn't applied to the women. I have to say that there's plenty of athletic women on the shows.
I mean,
It's only applied
Funko
to men.
Bruce was pretty athletic, right?
Okay, that's fair.
I mean, I think there
For
was more. I
44
think
or
there was
whatever
more
he was.
athletic people. I believe that Miss Hannah Rose was athletic. She just was having Nick fits and had to leave.
Yeah.
Give her a
I
patch.
mean, you look at like Drew.
Slap it on
Come on.
Like, why
Drew
couldn't
had
they
to be
just
the
give her a
least athletic
patch?
person since
Listen, you know what though? He was incredibly unathletic in appearance, but he did well in challenges.
Right.
He wasn't like Carolyn.
Well, again,
look on the
sometimes they
flip
do
where last
well
season-
because there's nobody with any muscle on the show.
But look at the flip last year. You have somebody like Carolyn who looks very athletic, and she was terrible in competitions.
But she was so much fun.
She was amazing,
She's
but terrible at
amazing.
competition.
So much fun.
So bad that she thought that the best option was to take off her pants and she might do better.
Yes, that's fantastic. They were weighing her down.
I'm gonna be better at basketball. if
These
I'm not
pants are
wearing
too
pants.
negative. I'm taking them off.
How come I never meet the women who think, I just take my pants
I'll just
off?
take my clothes off. That's how I fix this.
I'm never there when that happens.
I'm not wearing pants now. What are you talking about?
I podcast much better without pants.
Yeah.
They just get in the way.
Who knows? No one knows.
Well, I loved it. I think Reindeer Games is fun. I thought after 100 days of, I feel like the 6 days of Reindeer Games was better than the entire second half of this Big Brother season.
Well, there
I
was
loved the
was
first half of Big Brother.
because
The
there's-
second half.
Isn't it because they're not getting on each other's nerves? That it was pretty positive. It's pretty. Do you know what I mean?
No, I
think
don't
so?
even think that. Because I mean, I don't even.
You didn't have to
I
hate
mean, I
any of
don't
them.
like bullying, but I still like a little drama. It's because the production put real effort in it, and the second half of Big Brother felt like they all like just left the kids at home and went out.
Yeah.
So yeah,
it
they
was
didn't just
so-
go to production. Didn't just go to Hobby Lobby and buy some Christmas decorations and slapped them up. Like
They went on vacation and left those
prepped
McAllister kids
everything.
at home.
They prepped everything, and it was really
Yeah.
great. And
Reindeer
and
Games
they
was
cut
great.
Julie Chen out. So good job.
That's
Now,
another.
do you
another
think they
thing.
could have had the people live in the house?
Well, yeah, but I mean, like,
talk about doing
unnecessary.
something just for production. They
But
didn't
you know
want
how
to be
much
bothered
harder-
feeding them and stuff.
Do you know how much harder it would have been to get the cast that they wanted if they would have made them stay in the
Yeah,
house?
but they were only there
For
for a
2
couple
weeks?
days. No.
That doesn't
6
matter. They don't want to
episodes.
do it anymore. They just, I mean,
Guys,
really,
it was
nobody
only
wants to stay in that house. Everyone's all like, ugh.
guys, it was 6 episodes. All they to do that thing, if they had everything set, all those guys had to do was show up in the morning. They
Yep.
did their 3 things. They went home at night. 6
That's
days
what
in a
they
row.
did.
That's easy. That's
Yep.
easy.
Well, no, it was Tonight in the Can. It must have been, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
it was
yeah.
all
Because it wasn't
pre-recorded.
live, right?
No.
No, they pulled this like immediately. They would have had to done like immediately after Big Brother ended.
Right.
I
Well,
mean,
it's
I don't think.
amazing.
I
It's
mean, I don't
amazing
think
that they
Cam
kept it
ever went
quiet. Like it didn't leak
home.
who won.
See, and that's what I think. I think that whole that week, that's what they did. I don't think Cam ever even really went home.
Oh. You think?
I think he probably stayed there. Why would they pay to fly
He
him
went to
home?
some of the post-production parties and was like
Yep.
saw that people didn't like him and then was like, oh.
As much as I dislike Cam, and the Twitterverse agrees with me.
Yeah.
And of course the Facebook verse loves Cam
Yes.
because they're the casuals. But I do have to say it's adorable that America has sent gifts from all around the country to his daughter, who's really cute.
Mhm.
And there were some pictures of her opening them up and stuff. And I thought that was adorable.
Is
Yeah.
that because she's doing her best to be a positive influence on her? She's like, girl, you're going to have some problems. So let me.
I love as much as I am like, ugh, that guy. I know why they kept him in there. He's great at talking to the cameras. He shows a great personality in front of the camera when he's acting, when he's doing his DRs. He does what they want him to do.
Yeah, he played a good character for them. Yeah.
Exactly. He does that really well, which is why
He
Facebook
is going to meet Chuck
likes him.
Norris.
Yeah.
Was it Chuck Norris? Is that who he was obsessed with?
No, it's
Oh,
Kevin
no,
Costner.
Kevin Costner.
Yeah, Kevin Costner's gonna meet
We're
Kevin
gonna
Costner.
meet Kevin Costner after this.
But I will say it again. Of all of the things Cam has ever done, the thing he did better than anybody else was the magical leap out of the Reindeer game's house. Because nobody else
they even show Xavier doing it. I didn't.
Yeah, it was like, I don't think he even got a jump out of the house, did he?
No, I don't think he did.
No. Well, he didn't leave and then magically come back. He just stayed there. So, yeah, I can get where the casuals find their favorites. And just like in Survivor, I'm sure that there's a lot of fan favorites that would not be fan favorites if we got to actually see everything in between the games. There's a KK. There's a KK.
He has decided it's time to lay down.
I was going to make a joke, but I couldn't.
That's him spot.
I told you I wasn't wearing pants.
That's exactly what I was. See? You have to go showing us.
There it is.
If you know, you know. Anyway, yeah, so overall I think it was fun.
Yep, I loved it. It was good. It was great fun for the holidays. It sort of felt like the last week of school before, winter or summer break, when it's just about everybody getting those kids to calm down and get their energy out and, have fun,
And
play
there's usually
games.
there's usually a little lull here anyway, so why not?
And it was kind of like if you go out and you have a big meal and you get just a little dessert and you just have like a bite, not like the whole thing, but like, oh, it's sweet, it's good, and it's not too much.
And it's enough. You know when to say when.
You don't go home like feeling shame for what you did.
Right. I didn't eat a big piece of cheesecake this big. I had a bite of cheesecake.
But also, we didn't leave going, I wish I had some more cheesecake. It was just the right amount.
Yep.
No,
Yep.
As a matter of fact, it might have been just a little too much because the final challenge, I was the least engaged out of all of them.
Well, that's because your bragging rights walked out the door.
You were in mourning.
That could be.
That's understandable.
That's a pretty accurate assessment,
that's
right?
consistent with all my personality defects, so I accept that.
Like, it's not nearly as fun if we can't brag about it later. Well, okay, so we have we're gonna have Australian Survivor coming up in February, first week in February. February. And then maybe perhaps do a Traders episode.
Yeah,
When does
I'd
that
be
start?
okay with that.
When does that
Sometime
drop?
in February.
Also?
Yep.
Yep.
Whew.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you know what? There's not a whole lot of great scripted drama that's out there in that month. So
I'm super
No.
excited for Real Survivor coming back in February.
there we go. It's going to be
Real
crazy. It's going to
Survivor.
be
Yeah,
intense.
Survivor
Oh,
like it was intended to be played.
Yeah.
Where you really have to survive. You're just so excited. You can't wait to hear it's the battle of the big boys. That's all you care about.
Well, no, it's
David
not
loves
funny.
the battling of the big
The
boys.
host
I
better because
honestly,
the
I
host is more
honestly,
buff.
I
Yes,
honestly
he is.
don't. My favorite characters are always not them. It's just I think I'm offended by the fact that they're being intentionally excluded
You
from
just
US
love
Survivor.
I think what you really like, I think the best picture that I can paint here is that you really appreciate somebody who is an underdog, but you want to see them have to fight for it.
Yeah.
It's,
Like
I mean, you want to see them struggle
Oh.
to get
what
there.
was the gal a couple seasons ago? And she was tiny, dark hair, and she just blew those big dudes out of the water. What's her name? Like we couldn't think of it the other day either. It was like Shan or Shell or
Yeah, the one with the tattoos and the really
yeah.
muscly arms.
Yeah, and she wasn't a big person, but she just had a will to
Shanna.
beat all
But she was all
Shanna?
muscles.
yeah, and she was all will.
Mhm.
And so it was like when she beat those people, you're like, wow,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's fair. And I like look, I love
I never
having
looked at her
different
as an underdog. I was all like, oh, she's going to kill everyone. Look at those arms.
right.
Her arms are just muscle.
Well, and she didn't end up winning, but
But
I
she
love
gave it all.
I love all the diverse personality types they've put on. I
Yes.
just think they've gone a little too overboard and said there's one type of person we're just not putting on. And that,
Maybe
to
they're just
me-
trying to balance it a little bit before they go back to.
Okay, so what we got to do like 9 seasons of nobody with muscle because they did too much muscle over the first 20. I mean,
Again,
maybe.
I think this is just what happens when you're not recruiting. It's all it is.
but
They're not
maybe
recruiting.
there's a balance. Maybe they should be recruiting 4 and casting 12.
Maybe. I
Right?
mean,
I don't know.
I can't even say that
Or
that's necessarily wrong because I do have a few, like I just went through them, issues with I love watching a fan play the game. That's who I'm going to root for always. However, if everybody knows what's coming,
It's boring.
you know,
Well, what happens if it becomes this like non-physical game? Will then physical people go, wait, I'm going to go on that show. I can beat any of those guys. Won't it
Yep.
then flip the other way
sure.
and encourage
pendulum.
those people who think they have a
Always
chance?
goes- yeah. the
Well, no, I
pendulum
see, but I
goes
think they're applying. I just think they're not being accepted at this point.
well, and
I just think
also,
I think they have this image of
Jeff
where the show's
says
going.
he doesn't have an agenda.
I
They're
think
just they're casting personalities.
I don't
So,
buy that.
oh yeah,
I
they're
don't buy that.
looking
So
for characters.
suddenly his
Good TV.
personality type was one way for 35 seasons.
Because they
and
weren't
suddenly-
doing personalities. That's the point.
that's how we got all the creepy perverts on the
Yeah.
show.
But
Well,
then they
look,
did
I'm
this.
not saying
but
they
like
haven't made a
somebody
ton of
like
mistakes. Of course they have.
someone like Funkle, what's his name?
And
He's
Bruce.
physical. But they all went, oh, Bruce? Oh yeah, he's kind of got a personality. Okay,
Keep him
he'll
in
go
front
on.
of the camera. Yeah.
He's on there because of who he was, not and he just happened to be muscly, right?
Yeah.
I think
But
there's
look at somebody like Tony. Tony's a great
there
example.
you go. There you
Because
go.
he's 100% personality. He does have athletic ability, obviously.
Sure.
he wouldn't
But
get
that's-
cast today.
But I
would
think
be
he
cast
would.
today,
He's a
absolutely.
diamond in the rough. In order
Are
to
you
get
crazy? He would
both things?
listen, Jeff could not get out of his chair fast enough to get that guy in the door.
Well,
You know
no,
what I mean? To let him-
Tony obviously could.
That's what we're saying.
Personally, could get cast.
I'm
I
gonna-
could
I'm
not
gonna
get
be-
cast.
people need
I
to not
honestly-
suck at that.
again, I honestly feel to have somebody that has the dynamic personality, the character, the ability to deliver confessionals in a way that's intriguing or funny and people to connect with them, and then also have them be really athletic, those are the superstars of Survivor. That's
Yeah.
why there's only like maybe one a season or every couple of seasons, because you can't have Tonys in every single, you can't have Malcolms, and like they're
No, I
special
hear
for
you.
a reason. So
I
we
hear you.
get them once in a while.
Well, but
Um,
it's been suspiciously not in the last 5 or 6 seasons.
I feel like there's been plenty of athletic people in it, not compared to the way it used to be. I'll give you that. I just don't think that they're that interesting, so we don't remember them.
David, do you ever listen to On Fire?
No.
You got to go
good.
give it a try.
Is that a
Give it a try.
Survivor
Pretty good.
podcast?
Yeah, it's Jeff's podcast.
But,
Oh,
but honestly,
no, I can't stand him on the show. I
okay,
listened to
I'm
it
going to
once,
give you the lowdown.
and
This
they
is
asked
how
him
it
a
goes.
question about his hair.
David,
like,
this is how
No.
it goes, okay? So they have Devin on there now, right? So this is how it goes. They do the introduction
Yeah.
with the producer and Devin, and then Jeff's going to go stoke the fire, and he disappears for 37 minutes of the podcast and comes back in the last 3 minutes. You're fine. You're
They were
fine.
doing that more at the beginning of the season than they were toward the end. But people was writing questions and stuff. They tell him why he sucks.
Those are stupid. That's dumb. Those are never
I
good.
watched the first 3 of these, and the why Jeff sucks were stupid. I'm like,
Yeah, and they're a little bit better.
They're
a little
bad.
bit
No, they're
better
better,
than
but
they were.
still,
But
at the beginning they weren't. They were just building the people listening and the questions coming in. So now maybe they're able to dive in a little bit more.
But there is a lot of incredibly interesting things about how they do casting.
production and how they do the show.
Yeah.
And so like the more you listen, now they already told you like about this. So maybe in another episode they'll tell you about the next layer of that onion, or maybe the next layer. And so you start to get a bigger picture of how it all works.
Talking about the psychological tests and personality tests that they put all the Survivor contestants or applicants through, and then what they had, that they turned around and did those same tests with the producers and Jeff and all the people that do the show, and the amount of like psychiatrists that were involved in creating it's really interesting. It does give you a lot of interesting stuff.
It might be, but I guess sometimes for me, seeing too much behind the curtain spoils it for me.
Oh,
I've actually
I think after this many seasons,
better.
Maybe it's just like, I don't necessarily want to know how the special effects are done when I go to the movie. You know what I'm saying?
Remember how they used to do the reunion show and how much better it used to be? Because they would show they would show things that got cut, or they would show this, or things that maybe you couldn't make it into the regular show. They don't really do a lot of that now. It's stupid. I wish it was better. But on this, Jeff can tell things like that.
Right.
And I fast forwarded to the season 46 preview.
And you got things like when they're talking about the say like the art department, or like how many different languages are spoke on set, just because they selected employees from
26 or something like that, wasn't it?
That's very cool.
Yeah, it's neat. Yeah. It's like there is interesting things. That big giant pirate ship that they've started at the very first episode, a couple different seasons. They talk about when they lost that to a storm and it was 7 miles out in the ocean.
It went out to sea.
Yeah, for it, and it's worth listening to. I mean, you can roll your eyes as we do on some of the stuff,
but there's enough nuggets of goodness for the fans to kind of.
You think? The first couple episodes was too much Jeff puffery for me.
For sure, I got you on that. Yeah,
sure, but it finds its stride.
Yeah.
Okay.
Give it a shot. See what you think.
You could listen along. Oh no, you already watched this one. You're up to date. Never mind. Wait, the season just ended. Never mind.
But give it a shot. See what you think. You might find a few things in there where you're like irritated about it, and you'll be like, "Yeah, I have just concrete evidence that I should be irritated about this," or like, "Oh, I had no idea, and that makes sense now, actually, and I'm glad I'm not irritated by that." I found it both ways.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So.
Anyway, so overall, 2 thumbs up for Reindeer Games. Hope
Yeah,
they
Yes.
absolutely. I
keep
think so.
keep it fresh. They can like
Proof that Big Brother does not need Julie Chen hosting it.
Yeah,
She's
right.
just there because she's part of what we're used to seeing.
Okay, but I must admit I held out hope that she was going to come in as like an elf with Santa, just as like it did a cameo, because I thought
Yeah.
that would have been cute.
But she doesn't. Listen, here's the difference between Jeff and Julie Chen. Jeff is fully invested in the game.
No,
Julie doesn't watch it.
Jeff thinks the game is about him.
Yeah.
That's
She
the
gets
problem.
in while she's in hair and makeup. They're
Jeff
giving her an
thinks
update on what's been going on.
people tune in to hear him talk.
Yes.
And
And
they don't.
and Julie is literally there to push the cord and say, lock in your answers now.
Now,
Now,
And then
faster.
they
Reset,
just say
reset,
it's time to
reset.
vote.
and then and at the end, with Jesus, all things are possible. And once she hits
Absolutely.
those 3 marks, that's all she needs to do.
Absolutely.
And look good doing it.
Maybe she didn't want to be a part of the
Always.
Reindeer Games because they couldn't remember that Christ was the reason for the season.
That could
Maybe.
be.
Maybe they
That
didn't want to
could
pay
be.
her.
I
because
was
then they
thinking
didn't-
about
That could be
maybe
they
that-
didn't want to pay her, but she might not have liked all the Santa and the reindeers
Sure.
and all of the
Who knows?
non-secular. Or
They
the,
just
or
probably
the
couldn't
secular.
pay her. It's
But
not
she
in her
also might have just
contract.
had
She wasn't
vacation
going to.
plans that she made before the
Oh, that
the
could
people
be
went on
anything.
strike and she
Could
wasn't
be a million things.
available.
Yeah, absolutely.
She could be sitting home watching and going, "God damn it! Why didn't they ask me, jerks?"
Oh, you know what I watched? And this is
I had a
Last
complete-
Friday,
Kleenex
I'm
box
actually
crochet
can't do that
cover I was just dying to wear.
I must digress for just a second. I watched. I always overshoot the Big Brother recording in case it's delayed by football or
Yes.
whatever.
Yep.
So I record it for like an hour and 45 minutes. Right. So I get to the end and they had this Dick Van Dyke.
Yes,
Yep,
I was
they're
watching
98,
it.
and I
when we
watched
started
the first like 40 minutes and it was wonderful, and then didn't
Yes.
have the last 20.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Yep.
I was doing the same thing. I was watching it until I muted it because we were starting to record. Because God bless him, Dick Van Dyke
Right?
is just
He's 98 years old.
he's a joy. Do you know
And
what I
you know,
mean?
And
he
Willie-
looked like
and
he
Willie
looked like he
Nelson
wanted
had
to
his,
get
what,
up and
90
dance
seconds
every
this
now
He
and
week?
then.
did.
Did he really?
Yeah, because there was a big Happy Birthday Willie Nelson special. Like,
See, I missed all that.
Oh, I didn't see that.
I don't know if it's aired yet because I've seen the commercials for it, or if it already has, or if it's like this week. But yeah, it's
Well, I thought it was funny when the Ted Danson came out and he's talking to him and he's listening and all of a sudden he goes, "Hey, you still running that bar?" Like that's a comic, and the way
Aw.
he just gave it just like that. Ted Danson, because it
Well,
was
how
out
he
of the
was
blue.
singing all the songs, he knew all the words to the
Oh, yeah.
songs from a movie he was
You
in
bet.
60 years.
And that one point he was surrounded by all those kids. Those were probably his great grandkids. Like,
Mhm.
you know what I mean? He's got there's just like 10
Yep.
or 12 of them around him.
Yeah.
Just
Another treasure.
bless it. That was his wife sitting with him, right?
I
Yes.
assume so.
I saw a
Not-
clip this
not the
summer where they were at Disney World and the barbershop quartet was singing to him at Disney World.
Gosh.
Yeah.
Then they showed
Great.
the clip from when he was on in the middle and him and his brother sang that song together. Oh,
Yep. Been around for a minute, right? That Dick Van Dyke. He's been around for a minute.
so nice.
All right,
Anyway,
well, let's wrap it up, and we'll see you
yeah.
all.
Well, guys, yeah. Merry
For
Christmas
real
to
Survivor. I
everybody.
mean, AU Survivor.
Be safe. Have a happy new year. And like I tell my kids, don't talk to anyone stranger than you. And yeah, we'll see you guys in the new year, I guess. And may 2024 be excellent to us all.
Yes, please. Can we, please?
And don't forget the reason for the season.
And yeah, we'll be back. We'll post in the Facebook group or Insta.
On the Insta, on the tweets, on the Twitter.
Yeah, we will be posting as soon as we make decisions on what nights we're going to be doing these upcoming shows. And if you have something that you think we should be watching, some sort of reality show,
Throw it in there.
like we're always willing to give another show a go. So
Excellent.
all right, guys. Well, then, Merry
See
Christmas
ya.
and be good. Santa's watching.
See you in
Bye.
the new year.